Hey everyone, welcome to Pure Hustle Podcast. I'm Mike.
And this is Orlando, and we're episode number 10.
Number 10. Yeah, we're doing it. Finally in the double digits.
It seems like we've been doing this for a long time.
Yeah, I mean, it's been a while.
It has been a while. A lot has happened, but, you know, it's the end of summer, right? People are kind of like getting antsy now. Like all the eBay stuff has kind of moved away.
Yep.
Well, not moved away. It's still with us. But,
Right.
you know, there's little things that are kind of like you don't hear all the drama. Do you see that?
You know, I haven't really been involved in any of the drama. I know we talked about...
Are we drama free? Is that why?
Well, we talked about the glitch gate a little bit and just kind of like some frustrations there. But as far as like other political kind of stuff going on in the eBay world, just trying to stay out of that and just trying to enjoy the process of you know, making money.
That's so good. And that's kind of what we're about. We want to, you know, inform people, but at the same time, you know, what it comes down to is, are we sourcing right? Are we being real, right? Are we picking up the right items? And then are we reselling and making money?
Yeah, that's
right?
I mean, that's kind of the key. And so the last thing we want this podcast to be is something that makes anybody's life more difficult. We want to provide, you know, uplifting, positive, you know, just advice and ideas and then ultimately help you guys make more money and have you guys help us make more money.
Yeah, and if we're not being upbeat and positive, call us out. Like,
Yeah.
I mean, don't call us out in the sense of like social media, call us out. Send us a nice little DM, go, you know, you guys sound a little negative. Like, what's going on? Because we want to be positive. We want you guys all to enjoy listening to us.
Yeah, absolutely. Cool. So what are we talking about today?
Well, we got to catch up still. There's a lot that's happened.
There has been.
Since our last podcast, right? We ended up on Wade's Ventures, right?
Yeah, that was awesome. If you guys haven't had a chance to see it, you should check it out.
Yeah, it's on YouTube, okay? And it's Wade's Venture, okay? So you just go to YouTube, just type it in. You can actually, I'm sure if you type in Pure Hustle Podcast, we may show up.
Yeah, absolutely.
But hey, show us some love, hit some likes for Wade, and it was just an amazing time. I think we really got to kind of flesh out everything that we do, don't you think?
Yeah, exactly. Kind of talk about who we are as Pure Hustle Podcast, because you know if you've been listening for a while, you kind of understand who we are, what our DNA is. But if you're just joining us, that's a good place to start, or just recognizing that we're here, as a podcast. We have our YouTube also. Anything, if you're just listening, you can watch us if you want to see our wonderful faces while you listen to us. But if you're driving in a car, because we recognize that's when a lot of people are. They have time available. They don't necessarily want to use all their data and have YouTube open, and they just want to get some good content while they're maybe sourcing or driving in their car, going to thrift stores. So we want to be here as that option for you.
Yep. And so that episode, we talk a lot about some tips. We bring out we brought out a few crates of items that we picked up to sell, and Wade also had a lot of great ideas. I do want to give one more shout out to Vic, the Chicago Flipper. On Instagram, he was great. He was one of the guys that answered one of our questions right and won a free T-shirt.
Yeah.
We're not wearing our shirts.
That's okay. We want to...
We don't want to wear them every episode?
Not every episode.
Okay.
We want to show off, all of our wardrobe.
I thought you were going to say show off our guns or something.
Oh, well, I could show off my guns even, no matter what I'm wearing.
And guns, what we mean is like muscles, right?
Yeah, of course. You can't sell guns on eBay, I don't think.
Okay, all right. And then also to Scully Star Fashions, Rita. Right, also supporting us, showing us some love out there. So, hey, thank you guys. Thank you for chiming in. Thank you to all of you so far that have watched the YouTube episode. If you haven't had a chance, again, that's Wade's Ventures. And again, take a look at it. Make sure you don't type in Wade's Adventures because it's going to take you somewhere else. It's Wade's Ventures. So, show us some love out there. All right, so we need to catch up also on what we talked about. Do you remember what we were going to catch up on? Do you have any idea?
Maybe it's been so long that I don't remember what we're supposed to catch up on. So what are we supposed to catch up on?
I think Wade's Venture kind of threw us in a loop, right?
That's true. Yeah, kind of threw everything off.
Because it was like another show, right? Along with the podcast. So you had mentioned that you were going to diversify. So you had talked about Poshmark.
Yep.
And then maybe sending in a shipment to Amazon?
Yeah, that's true. So we haven't actually sent the Amazon order in yet. We actually called Amazon, had a great experience. We had a phone call.
Called Amazon? Like there's people that pick up the phone?
Well, okay, so not only that, but we had not sent anything in to them. We had opened up this account. We had paid the $39.99 to be a pro account, which because we thought that would help us with some certain things. But anyways, we were running into some issues. We hadn't sent anything in yet. And they actually reached out to us through an email and said, hey, would you like to set up a conference call? And we can kind of...
What?
Yeah,
this
it was
is so foreign to me.
No, it was great customer service. They said they'd help us out if we had any questions. So yeah, we talked to them for quite a bit of time, about a half hour, and they answered every question we had and gave us some reassuring advice. And so we're definitely going to get something sent in there. But we have had...
Are you like on the payroll for Amazon?
No, definitely. I'm not, but I have had amazing customer experience as a customer from Amazon.
I mean, I'm sure listeners out there are going, Amazon called you and scheduled a conference call with you. Like,
yeah, no,
that is very
great.
shocking to me.
Yeah, maybe they're trying to... They got an email or something that said like, try and get more sellers, and so they recognize like, let's reach out to those who have an account but haven't sent anything in yet.
Oh, so. Awesome. Okay, so tell me a little bit about the conference call. I'm interested.
Well, I mean, it was just really good. They gave us some advice as far as how much storage we have, how much storage costs, some regulations on selling toys during Christmas, and are things blocked and are they not, and they were just really helpful. But I don't want to go into the whole call and explain all of my...
I get that. I'm just very fascinated. I'm sure our listeners are fascinated too, because I think I've talked maybe to Amazon twice,
really?
But it's really hard to even get to a place where you can get them to call you. Like, you got to click on certain things where it's like FBA issue. And then after that, you have to click on that issue. And then if you don't find the answer, you click on another thing. And then eventually you can either do an email, you could do a chat, or you could do a phone call.
Yeah. Well, maybe things have changed. Maybe they've gotten better and recognize they need to address that. I don't know. But yeah, it was a good experience for us.
All right. So walking away from that conference call, so what are your next steps then?
Yeah. So, I mean, we've got a box already ready to go. We just need to... double check all of our items, figure out if it's worth sending or whether we want to go eBay or not. Because that's one of the big things. Is a lot of the things we have, could go either way. And Amazon takes a cut, eBay takes a cut. And it's just a matter of trying to figure out logistically what's going to be the best bet for us.
Awesome, that's so good to hear. Okay, talk to me about Poshmark.
Yeah, Poshmark. We've had some sales. It's been great. We had one sale that was a big bummer. We had bought a backpack that is a really cool looking backpack. We got it at a good deal at a store, and so we buy this backpack. We had several backpacks, but the one sold, and we go to ship it. We pull it out of the crate that it was in, and the little handle part on the top of the backpack was broken.
Oh, it was painful.
And it was broken when we bought it. We just didn't recognize that it was broken when we bought it. So, and that was our very first Posh sale. So we had to message the buyer and say, hey, we're canceling the order. Sorry, your item is defective. Like, sorry, right? And luckily they didn't leave any bad feedback or anything, but that was what was running through my head was, what if we get a really bad feedback on this on our first sell? So we'll have like a 1 star, like a 1 negative star ranking and nothing positive, so.
You can only go up from there.
Out. Yeah, but who's going to buy from the person with 1 review and it's negative?
Now, my question to you is, did you think about running out to a store? Because this obviously wasn't like a vintage item.
No, it wasn't vintage, but it was definitely, it was a hot commodity, and they didn't have any more. We did check, and the stores were out in our area. So
you didn't try to do any drop shipping?
We probably would have lost money on that.
No, I wouldn't. So. I'm just messing with you. So I'm glad it worked out.
Yeah, it worked out.
Like that could be really scary. Like right off the bat, you do not want to start there.
Yeah, no, absolutely.
So good. I'm so happy for you guys. Okay, so I had this magical garage sale. Do you remember that was my hope?
Yeah, and it worked out, right?
It did. And posted some things on Insta, but it was 2 weeks ago. And there was, it was magical, but the magic kind of went away as I started sifting through items.
I hate when that happens.
Okay, so it was magical because, yes, I did pick up a lot of stuff. I picked up a lot of Harley gear. I picked up, I can't remember everything. It was a huge, my trunk was full. Like, I picked up a chair that I'm going to sell locally. I also picked up I actually sold some of the items. I sold some of the jackets recently. I paid like $2 and I sold it for $25. I picked up a jacket I paid $1 for, sold it for $50. I actually posted those on Insta today. And so a lot of items. And the ones that I was really excited about didn't work out.
Oh, what was wrong?
You want me to share with those?
Yeah, what was wrong?
Are we being negative if I share those?
No, that's not. I think the negative part is you got to share your experience. If we're just positive, I think we're giving unrealistic expectations.
That's true. We got to be real.
Yeah, we have to be real. I think the negativity comes when you're just bashing, the community or a person or a platform or something like that.
Okay. All right. So I ended up picking 3 pairs of Nike shoes that day. So you probably saw
you
one of
told
them.
me about that.
Okay,
Yeah.
all right. So one of them was a pair of Jordans. Now, and I'll put this on Insta. The Jordans, like the way you research Jordans is you look inside and there's like a serial number.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, and you put that number into eBay, and usually, the solds pop up and whatever. And sometimes I double check it and I go to Google and I'll put them on Google and it validates. Well, you're kind of on the fly, right?
Right.
I looked it up. These Jordans, they looked awesome. And so from what I saw in the eBay pictures and from what I had in my hand, they looked very like, now they were both black pairs of shoes.
Uh-huh.
And I didn't look closely enough.
Mm.
So I got home and I'm like all pumped. I'm like, I'm gonna flip these. I think I even one of the Insta stories said these go for 115 because that's what they were going for.
Right.
And I look and I go, wait a second. The eBay listings, now I'm looking at it on my desktop, they don't have velvet on them.
Oh.
Like there's a burgundy pair of these Jordans that are velvet, but there aren't a black pair. And then I looked and the real ones were shimmery and these were velvet. And so I'm like, maybe I'm the only one, right? You're hoping for that last one. Maybe I'm the only one that has this pair to sell right now. And I kept looking, and I kept coming across these like Chinese websites.
Oh, that is rough.
And I'm like, wait a second, these are knockoffs. And there were 3 or 4 websites, like it was like NikeShoeSale.com or something, and they were not legit. Like you knew, like you look on the website, and like these shoes are not legit.
Well, and I know you bought those 3 pairs together at one place. It almost makes you wonder. I mean, the people who sold them to you more than likely knew that they were knockoffs, but sold them to you under the impression that they're real, right? So
I don't know. So let me just finish this real quick. So the first pair of Nikes, the black ones, the Jordans, they were talking to me. They're like, "Oh, you were a teacher, cool." Like we had this connection, and I remember he had asked me, he goes, "Where are you looking those up?" Which I thought was a weird question because he wasn't like 80 years old. He was about 20 something. Like. By now, I'm sure if he had a pair of Jordans and maybe he was a sneakerhead, he would have known about eBay.
Yeah, exactly.
So maybe at that time he was going, hey, how's he finding out the value of these if they're fake? Maybe that's just conspiracy. You think I'm being too kind of pessimistic about this guy?
Well, I think he knew they were fake. No,
you think he knew they were fake?
Yeah.
Okay.
Nobody has 3 pairs of shoes unless
this is the one pair. This is the one pair of black Nikes. Right. But he gave them to me for $15. So, he ended up scoring anyways.
Yeah. So he got the score and you kind of got.
So that was sad.
Yeah. That's a bummer.
So these other 2, I think they believed they were real. So if there's on Insta, there's that video, I got some tacos.
Yep.
And they were awesome tacos, by the way. Like I almost wanted to turn back and get some more. But then I thought about all the profits I'd be losing, so I didn't. So there's these boxing shoes. And they look very legit. In the box, they look legit, but I was in a hurry. I got distracted by the tacos. I want to keep moving. I go home, and they are so fake.
Oh.
Like when I show on Insta the picture, the tags like aren't fully even done inside the shoe. And what's interesting is I did go to eBay, and some people sold these.
Huh.
And I looked at their feedback, and they had 100% feedback, but they were fake.
Yeah.
And I couldn't sell fake items. 2 reasons. 1, there's an ethical issue for me. 2 is, what if others got away with it and I don't get away with it?
Exactly. Yeah.
And so I decided, I actually kept them. So we're eventually going to shoot what we bought fake item. I don't know what we're going to call it. Like fake item. Fantastic, fun.
It's our flip-flops, right?
Something. We're gonna call it something. But I'm hoarding all these fake items, unless the police show up and then they're gonna think I'm a dealer of fake items.
Yeah, that would be really bad.
That would be really bad. Because today I did come across another pair of fake Nikes the other day. So, anyways, be aware. Nike shoes. I've never had that scenario happen in my 5 years of reselling, especially all at one time. I've never bought a pair of fake Nike shoes.
That's crazy.
So, anyways, okay. Yeah. But it was a magical garage sale. I've sold tons of items, so that's good. So it kind of it got my spirits up, and I look forward to the next few weeks coming up.
Nice.
So I have a random story I want to share.
Let's hear about it.
Okay, so all of you guys, those of you that follow us on Instagram, if you don't, make sure you follow us Oh, who's calling me? This could be OfferUp. Okay, we're gonna turn that off. That was bad
That's
etiquette.
a bummer. That's okay. That happens.
Sorry, everyone.
See, we got to keep the volume on because when we get those chings,
I know. It should have been on silent, but yes, we're waiting for the chings. So I went to this thrift store and I put this on Instagram, and a lot of people read the story, but I wanted to kind of share a little bit more about it. So you know that thrift store we go to?
Yep.
Like the thrift store?
The thrift store, yeah.
Okay. So they have this huge electronics wall. And I'm there and I'm like, wow, there could be a lot of good things here. So I'm looking. And the whole time, I'm not finding anything. And this guy approaches me. And he has a very thick accent. He goes, hey, you. I'm like, what's going on? He goes, look at those chairs over there. I'm like, why? Like, those are, what's so good? He goes, check this out. And he literally kind of just like, he stands up. He doesn't take his cell phone out of his pocket. He kind of lifts up his untucked shirt out a little bit, and he kind of pulls his phone out, and it's like he had this website already like showing. And he shows me like this price for these chairs. And, you know, they were like over $1,000. I can't remember the exact number right now. And he goes, see those chairs? These are those chairs. And I was like, oh, really? And I look, and sure enough, there were those chairs. So there were these 2 stacks of chairs, you know, 6 chairs, right? 2 stacks of 6 chairs, so a total of 12. Each stack going for $89.99.
Oh.
And I'm like, oh my. Like, I literally was next to these chairs probably for 10, 15 minutes.
Yeah, I would never thought to even look them up.
Never once. So I asked him, I said, so how'd you know about these chairs? He goes, oh, I used to resell for a long time. And I said, oh, wow, really? So tell me a little bit about it. Like, I hear an accent. Tell me where you're from. He goes, my name is Ivan, and I'm from... And he told me an Eastern European country. And I don't want to say the country because, you know, maybe he's listening, and I don't want to sound like I'm insulting him. I'm not trying to, but I was very intrigued.
Huh.
And I said, so tell me a little bit about, you know, your reselling. Like, what's the deal? And he goes, oh, I've been reselling for a long time. And then he looks at my cart. He goes, you're selling that junk?
Oh, gosh.
And I go, well, that's not junk. It's used. He goes, it's used items. I said, yeah. And he asked me, where do you sell those? I said, well, I sell this on Amazon, eBay. He goes, you sell used stuff on Amazon? I said, sure, I do. As long as it's electronics and it works. He goes, oh, I used to do Amazon. You know, 2006, 2007, 2008. I didn't even know you could sell back then. Maybe you could. And he started going into a story about that there's a conglomerate. Like, I guess eBay, Amazon, Facebook is all owned by some company. It's okay. So it's for our conspiracy. It's for our conspiracy episode. But you know what I find is like the OG sellers, a lot of them have these stories like they started somewhere. Right. Like with Amazon and eBay, and they just got really upset. So what he told me in the end was that he's gonna sell these chairs on consignment. So he goes, stores don't do a store. Everything online or consignment. And I go, why is that? He goes, you're going to lose money. And so he started telling me about how he used to have a whole store, and it just was tough. He had to work with employees, and he had to, you know, pay all the overhead. And now what he does is he finds expensive items and he sells them on consignment. So on those chairs, he'll probably make, you know, 2, 3, maybe $4,000, and he'll get half of that. But in the end, he doesn't have to pack. He doesn't have to ship. He doesn't have to store. So it's kind of like Amazon FBA on a different level. Yep. But, you know, again, it told me, you know, that whole story related to me how much I do not know.
Right. Absolutely. There's a lot to learn. I mean, every market, every little niche you can be involved in, there's so many out there. You can't possibly know everything about everything, but you got to know something about most things if you're going to be successful, as I imagine.
I agree. And also, there's resellers been around for a long time before, you know, all the YouTubers and the podcast people like us showed up. There's people that know their stuff. So again, don't discount those. You know, you see those. You know how they look. Those old school resellers. They show up and they don't even use phones or anything. Right. They just know. They just know. And you know, it never hurts to kind of, if you can. You know, I know there's a time constraint when you're out there flipping, but you know, it never hurts to kind of, you know, pick the brain of one of those guys and hear what they have to say, because that day I learned a valuable lesson and it was very worth it to me. So that's the story I wanted to share.
That's good. I like it.
So anything you want to share before we move on?
Random stories. I don't know. We'll see it. We'll see what comes up in the
I know they come up anyways, right?
Yeah, it'll come up. I'm sure.
Let's talk about some current topics. Goodwill prices. I wanted to talk about this. So how do you feel when you go Goodwill? You think the prices are the same, or do you find that you're paying a lot more at the Goodwill in comparison to other stores?
Yeah, I think it just depends. Well, Goodwill is definitely more expensive, at least around here. Salvation Army, AmVets, those places, they tend to run quite a bit cheaper than the Goodwills run. There's that comes at a benefit because when you get to a place like a Goodwill, they seem to do a little bit better job of filtering through some of the junk and not having as much, stuff that's just trash that you're wasting your time looking through, but you're definitely going to pay up on an item. So where you might get jeans for $1 at a Salvation Army, sometimes you might be paying $10, $15 at a Goodwill, but you're not getting jeans with the holes in them and stains. And so you're definitely paying more. And then each Goodwill is different too. So some Goodwills you go to, it seems to be like clothes are all pretty relatively cheap, except if you get into a certain market and then you go to another Goodwill and then all the clothes are really expensive. So it does seem to be varying from Goodwill to Goodwill.
Okay. I just was wondering. So you would say that the extra that you're paying for an item at Goodwill is kind of like the service charge for them to filter out items and have a cleaner store?
Yeah, that's not a charge I like to pay as a reseller, but if I was just a customer, I think I would appreciate that. As a reseller, I don't mind looking through the junk to get the really good deal on an item that's gonna, net me a lot of money. If I'm buying the items at Goodwill, they're already cutting into my profit quite a bit, so.
Okay. Yeah, because I do find out of all the thrift stores, Goodwill is the cleanest. Would you agree?
Absolutely, for sure.
Like the other ones, I still, even though I've been thrifting for a long time, there's times I'm like, this is really gross in here.
Yeah,
right
some thrift stores are like you're walking in a dumpster warehouse, where like it's
like a landfill inside a building.
Yeah. But you go into some Goodwills and they, not all of them, some of them are a little nicer than others, but they do overall, I think, a pretty good job of almost making you feel like you're in like a boutique, right? That things are kind of organized.
I can't stand that word.
No?
Boutique?
Not a fan?
It kills me in the sense that when Goodwill goes boutique, it just means the prices go up.
Prices do go up. They do. Yeah.
And here's another weird thing. I find that the Goodwills that went boutique style, they're harder to thrift.
Yeah.
Because they used to have at the Goodwills these huge long racks.
Right.
And they would put the shoes on top. So you'd be able to just comb through clothes and look at shoes at the same time. Now there's all these circular ones, right?
Yep.
So you have to literally go circle to circle to circle, and it's just annoying.
Yeah, I agree.
So anyways, all right. I bring this up because, Craigslist Hunter, to me, he's one of the best resellers out there to watch on YouTube. And he had this video, and I don't know, you probably haven't seen it yet, but he went to Goodwill in the Midwest. So when I think of Midwest, I don't think of expensive, right? When I think of expensive, I think of Cali.
Right. Yep.
And he's out there, and man, these prices were crazy.
Really?
Like we're talking about like a tape deck. They're trying to sell for like $100 that goes for $100 on eBay.
Oh.
Right. We're talking about like it was like a chest now for $100. We're talking about there's a bull on the ground, like this sculpture, $90.
So it was a Goodwill that thought they were an antique store.
Something like that. I mean, it's funny because I'm watching this video and I'm a big fan of Pete. And he tells it how it is. And this time I'm like, maybe Pete is just upset today, right? And so, but as he's going, he's looking, I'm going, oh my. Like you should watch it. You really should. I think it's called Goodwill, the End of Goodwill, or something like that. You can't miss it. And he's going, and it just gets worse and worse and worse. And I've experienced that too, but not in all the stores.
Right.
So he talks about like maybe the days of Goodwill, as far as resellers may be closing.
Mm.
And so there's that perspective. And there's another YouTuber, and I keep bringing these resellers, but I respect these guys, Golden Finger Picker.
Yep.
He had this video with Hearts Pickers, and he was talking about that we shouldn't be kind of upset with these thrift stores because in the end, they're also trying to, make money, right? They're not trying to cater to resellers.
Right.
Right, which I don't know. I go back and forth on that because I know some Goodwills do cater to resellers.
Yeah.
Like the ones I go to, they're very big on resellers because we provide 40 to 50% of their revenue.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, and then it allows them, I mean, we talked about in our last episode, the fast nickel, slow dime. For some of those stores, they might be running on almost that fast nickel mentality. If they can get, 30 to 40% of their merchandise in the store out of the doors within a week, that allows them to get more merchandise in, right? So we are doing them a favor in that sense if they price things so that they can go. And the other thing, what bugs me is sometimes you go into stores, especially if the prices are high, and you go and you spend, an hour walking and looking at every item in the store, and you go to that same store a week or 2 weeks later, and it's mostly the same stuff.
Oh,
and you've got to be wondering, like, how are they making money? Like, if you just lower the prices on these things, people will buy it, and then you can get more stuff in the store, because they're getting it for free. They've got to have warehouses where they just have stuff like sitting, waiting to make it onto.
They do. They hold out like jackets. They hold out their jackets until a certain season. Like the worst is when you find something that is priced more than what it's sold on eBay.
Yeah,
that's when
I've definitely seen that, or just about the same price, and it's. You almost think like that's kind of how some places are marking their items. And again, like we talked about, that you can sell an item higher on eBay because you're reaching the people who want that item.
Correct.
Right? There's that one person in Tennessee who wants this one little trinket that is willing to pay that price for it. But that doesn't mean somebody in San Diego is willing to pay that price for it, right? So if you want that price, you're going to have to get it to those few people who want it. You can't just assume that you can, raise your price to that level and that's what they go for in a small market.
Yeah, and we're like personal shoppers.
Right.
Right? I mean, part of the surcharge, I guess, would say when we, price things high is the market. And then on top of that we're finding something that you couldn't find unless you were there with us.
Yep, exactly.
Right. So that, because I get that question all the time. Like, don't you feel bad? You go into a thrift store and you pay so cheap and you sell it for so high. And I say, well, no, because everybody has the same opportunity. And two, if it was not for me picking up that item, that person would have never been able to find it.
Yep.
So like today, I'll give you an example today. I sold a Jams World shirt today. I sold it for $40, picked it for $5, but it was for a restaurant. And this person was an employee of that restaurant.
Nice.
And they contacted me, said, I had it up for $65 and they sent me an offer of $40. And usually I wouldn't take the $40. But they said, hey, I was an employee of this place for 20 years. I loved it. Are you willing to work with me? And, that tugged at my heartstrings.
They got you.
I know.
You sucker.
No, you know what?
I
I think it was truth. And I said, sure. I said, sure. And I accepted the offer. And they messaged me, thank you so much. And I've been to this restaurant. And I said, it's a great place to dine. And they replied back and they said, oh, it's awesome. It was awesome to work there. Thank you so much. And so if it wasn't for me finding that shirt, they wouldn't have found that shirt, right? Unless they ended up at I think I found it at Salvation Army in the middle of San Diego. They would have never come across that shirt.
Who would have ended up buying it would probably be somebody who needed to paint in their house and need something to get stuff on, like, hey, this is a cool looking shirt that I can wear around the house. And so, that person who has the sentimental value attached to it wouldn't get it. So, yeah, you are doing a service, I think, when you're willing to do that. And of course, like you said, like anybody can go look at thrift stores, but if I'm looking for something in particular, like if I went into reselling thinking I'm looking for one particular model of, I don't know, an electronic device, there's this one item that I want, I could probably spend my entire, career of reselling going to thrift stores and maybe never run into one of those. But I can go on eBay, and if I really wanted one, I can get one tomorrow, right? So that's kind of the thing with going to those thrift stores is we are charging people more than we're paying for them, but we're doing a huge service to the people who really want that item.
100% agree. So we'll just have to see. One thing I want to leave listeners with is remember, every thrift store has its weak points. Every single time. So either, there's something they miss. And remember, a lot of these items that are being priced high, some of the managers don't agree with it. Like I ran into a manager the other day and they said, what are my employees doing? Because employees, I don't know how the whole system works, but I guess employees, if items that they price sell or something, it goes back onto some kind of tracking or something like that.
Gotcha.
So, but some managers are like, no, like it should have been priced lower, and they're willing to work with you. So be aware of that. And just like we sometimes misprice items on eBay, so do Goodwill people.
Right.
Remember, they're just out there trying to hustle, trying to make $1 out of 15 cents.
Yep.
Right? They're not any different than we are. So, just be aware of that. Don't go in there with this beef about Goodwill. Just try to find the stuff that they missed and move on.
Yep, agreed.
All right, so let's talk a little bit about sales picking up. Are they picking up for you? Summer is almost over, so slow down. Should be calming down.
I don't know what to contribute to the summer slowdown part ending and what to contribute to just we have more items in our store.
Okay.
But I tend to find that weekends are like the high points. Like I can go all week without a sale. I actually made 2 sales today, which was kind of nice.
Good for you.
Yeah, thank you. I know some people are like 2 sales. I made that last minute, but no, I made 2 sales today. But there's times where I can go the whole week and maybe make 1 or 2 sales the whole week. And then Saturday and Sunday hits and it's like 15, 20 items will sell. And so awesome. It's a lot of packing, but at least it's all at one time, because it's, so I think weekends is a big one for us. And we've definitely, our sales have certainly increased. So I think part of that is to an increased pipeline and potentially some of that could be to just the time of the year that it is.
True. I think they're picking up. I would say I experienced the summer slowdown and now I'm getting consistent multiple sales a day.
That's good.
I mean, I was getting sales every day still, but sometimes it was just one.
Right.
Luckily, they were like bigger items, and so I didn't feel the hit that much. But now it's every day.
That's good.
So it's nice. And one tip I do want to share with listeners, and this is another conspiracy tip. So
hopefully it's good.
Sometimes you sell things on Friday, and technically you have until Sunday to ship it out. Not until Sunday, till Monday to ship out, right? Yep. So you have Friday, you have until Monday midnight to ship it out. But I find that and those of you that are veteran sellers, you know what I'm talking about, that if you pack things and you ship it out Saturday before the post office closes, like you'll get more sales.
Huh.
It doesn't happen all the time, but I do find it's odd. Like I'll drop something off at the post office and I'm driving and I hear cha-ching.
Weird.
I'm like, weird. Like right after it gets scanned. So anyways, just something to think about.
Yeah, and for those of you who are listening, because I'm, like some of you new to this, so you might be wondering, like, what do they mean, like, with the conspiracy thing? So it's not just like a luck, like, we think that this, just magically happens. If you wear the right color shirt, then you'll get a sale. But that eBay has actually got an algorithm that potentially is bringing your items higher on the page. So when somebody's searching for something, they might see 100 items that are the exact same. And if you're doing certain things right within their like algorithm systems, your item will be closer to the top. So, these things are, from what I understand, pretty well understood, not all verified, but that's what we're talking about when we say.
Yeah. And I'm not sure any of it's verified. I think free shipping is one of them that's been verified. I think free returns has been verified. But, all these other conspiracy. But I can't wait till that conspiracy episode.
That'll be great.
I want to wait till we get more of an audience base because I like to hear what other people have.
Maybe we do that one live and let people chat with us about what they think and have experienced.
Okay. Wow. Who knows what we'll get when we go live?
Hey, I'm ready. Okay. Well, I'm not ready right this moment, but I'm ready when you guys are ready.
All right. Let's move on. Okay. Q4. Just real quick, and we're going to have a whole Q4 episode coming up. But let's explain Q4 real quick. Can we explain it really fast?
Let's do it.
Okay, do you know what I mean by Q4?
Yeah, so Q4 is the fourth quarter of the year. So you break the year into months, right? 3 months?
3 months, the last 3 months of the year.
Yeah, so you get your 3-month quarters. And then, so the fourth quarter, the Q4 time is that big Christmas rush when people are starting to buy things for the holidays. People are in that giving mode and they want to just spend and give and
giving to get back.
Yeah, and from what I understand, just retail in general makes majority of their money during that time frame. So
yeah, they actually end up in the black. Like they're red all year, some companies, and they go in the black.
Yeah, they're waiting for that moment. They're staying afloat because then they make it all up.
All right. So if you see a bunch of YouTube videos or podcasts and people talking about Q4, that's what we're talking about. Because actually, there's some new sellers that actually had DM'd us and had asked. And, to me, always feel free to ask us questions.
Yes, please.
Because
I ask Orlando all the time what things mean, right? Like
not all the time. He knows some stuff. He plays it down.
I know stuff, but most of what I know is because, of asking and looking and researching. So, you're not going to know everything. And I mean, in fact, we were selling some stuff on Poshmark. My wife and I were selling stuff on Poshmark, and we had some weird things coming up, and we had to watch like 2 or 3 YouTube videos of different YouTubers talking about Poshmark before we figured out what the bundle was and why there was, only one item in a bundle, and can we offer on that? So yeah, anytime you have a question, if you're seeing something on eBay, on Amazon, starting to learn Poshmark a little bit. I'm definitely not an expert, but if you've got questions on those things, feel free to reach out, because if we don't know, we'll try and find out who does know and then share that, because if you've got that question, I'm sure other people do too.
Yeah, and be aware. I mean, you don't necessarily have to go to us. If you just go to Google, just Google it, right? Or if you go to YouTube, I mean, there's stuff out there, but we're
You can
here
do
for
that, but here's the benefit of coming to us.
Oh,
We'll
wow.
take, I'm going to sell us on
All
this.
right, okay.
So you come to us with a question, kind of like this Q4 one, and then we're going to make sure that that question is then addressed on a broader scale. So people who don't even know they have that question are going to learn about it.
Okay,
Right?
all right.
So people who might not know that they need to Google it are going to hear, because we're talking about it.
Nice. Okay.
And that's why we're better than Google. Just kidding.
Wow.
We're
All
not.
right. Well, I think we just lost a bunch of followers.
No, people love that.
Okay. All right. Okay.
I love Google. I'm a huge Google fan.
Hey, do you know KB stores are going to be opening up?
Yeah, I heard you mention that to me before. So tell me what that model looks like for them.
So, have you been a spirit of Halloween?
Yep.
Like, I know you love to get dressed up for Halloween, right?
Yeah,
You're one of those guys?
no, I did when I was a kid. I haven't felt like spending money on a costume recently.
Really?
But yeah, for those of you again who don't know, like if you don't have something like this in your area, what pops up, I'm sure there's something like it, but it might not be called Spirit of Halloween. But right around Halloween time, we get these stores that pop up, and they are big stores. They're not small. Like they're huge.
They're like
size.
warehouse. Well, not warehouse, but they're the size of not anchor store, but almost anchor store.
Yeah, they're pretty good sized stores that will pop up, and they are, or sometimes they're tents. Like occasionally they'll be like in a parking lot of we have really good weather.
Like
here
think
in
of
San
a
Diego.
circus, but it's a store.
Yeah, and so these stores pop up, and it just sells Halloween stuff. And like the day after Halloween, they basically clearance everything out, and then they close it away, and you don't see them again until next year.
They clearance them out.
A lot of stuff gets
Are we
clearanced
losing
out.
money?
Yeah, you're not buying Halloween stuff.
Where would I keep it?
I don't know, but you should keep it.
I don't-
Well, here's the problem. Halloween stuff, I feel like with costumes, it's a different big costume every year, right? So certain things, like I'd imagine buying like face paints and fake blood and that kind of stuff probably always sell. But yeah,
No, there's
they
some people that
definitely
make
fast.
all their money for the year Halloween.
Really?
Seriously. Like they do it through Amazon, they do it through
I need to get
they
into
do it through
costumes.
eBay. I don't know. I get scared. Like, what do people, especially with free returns, like wear a costume and just return it?
Turn off free returns.
You can't do that. Like,
It has to be free return on every item. You can't select
I
item
know,
to item.
I know. No, you can. You can do it if you want to. I'm just saying, if you want to get that top rated seller and you want
Open
to
up a second store.
Wow. Mike and I are just going at it today.
No, I'm just thinking like if that was the concern, if you were like, I can make a lot of money on this, but I don't want to lose.
No, I hear it. I completely hear it. And I'm pretty sure people do that. Okay, going back to Spirit Halloween. So these are going to be KB stores that just pop up. And supposedly they're going to be up before Black Friday. Do you remember KB? Do you have any childhood memories from KB?
Yeah, walking by them in a mall and seeing all the toys and like an airplane flying
Yeah,
out,
I
like a
remember the
string
airplane,
up in the
yes.
top. Yeah,
Or the little monkey, like there's that little table and there's like little animals moving
yeah,
around.
moving
on it.
around, or like a fake pet
Anime, like
section.
the crank up
Yeah.
animals. Okay.
Yeah, I didn't really go in them very often, but
I just remember it was overpriced. Do you remember that?
I
And
was
it
a
doesn't
kid,
exist
so-
anymore.
Yeah, it doesn't exist anymore. But you know what?
Toys was overpriced too, though.
KB Toys
Huh.
though, I looked into this. My wife did some looking into it and told me KB stores actually bought Toys R Us, or Toys R Us bought. So they're owned by the same company.
That's not good.
Yeah, it's the same company. So I think.
Are you sure?
Yeah, there was the same company. So one of the other bought the other, and because it was like running in the deficit, and it was anyway. So they purchased it, and they tried to keep them open, and it didn't seem to work. So it could possibly be, and maybe I'm wrong. I could be wrong on this, but at least one of the articles that we looked into, one of the guys' theories was. KB stores didn't want to close Toys R Us. They obviously wanted Toys R Us, if this is true, wanted Toys R Us to be successful because they're making money when Toys R Us is making money. But because it wasn't being successful, they could kind of close them out, bankrupt it, and then now all of that market will flood to KB stores, and now they'll be profitable again.
And that's the thing. And there's a ton of stuff. Actually, CNN just broke a story. I'm trying to look it up real quick. But there's, I guess, a ton of inventory that toy makers had that they were going to push through Toys R Us, and they just were unable to,
Oof.
right? Because Toys R Us shut down. So now KB is in there, but then these toys might be selling at a different rate Like they might not be as expensive as they were at Toys R Us. I don't know. There's a lot of theories out there. I just think it's going to be interesting. And it's interesting. I'll read something here. Strategic Marks bought the KB Toys brand from Bain Capital in 2016. Bain is the same company that bought Toys R Us and took it private in 2006, a process that left the toy company saddled with $5.3 billion in debt, from which it never recovered.
Yeah. So yeah,
when
it's
I
the
think of
same
Bain,
parent
what do
company.
you think about when you think about Bain?
Oh, I know you're gonna go with Batman on that one.
I just can't help it.
Yeah. We played this game. This is way off topic, but we played this game. It's like Love Letter, and there was a Batman version of it. It's kind of just like a fun 4-player card game. And there was this one of the cards was Bane, and it was like the worst thing that could happen to you. And I think Orlando accidentally did it to himself one time, and so like that was like the running joke is like you baned yourself. Like
that's right, you baned yourself. That's right. But I think about it like this, Bane of all names, right?
Yeah.
So
Bain Capital. That sounds great. Like that definitely sounds like there's some guy like up in an office with like a big cigar and a cat on his lap and is like taking over the world.
They're gonna come after us. We probably need to
Bain Capital is.
Yeah, we're gonna get baned.
Oh man, don't be baned. If we are baned, then we need you guys to come support us.
You know what happened to us. But anyways, so this is kind of interesting. So Strategic Marks now is gonna, work these KB stores. And people keep saying, Orlando, why are you stressing about Q4? And to me, it's just because it's the unknown. Like, who knows? Like, maybe they'll have really cheap toys, right? Because they have a bunch of toys they need to offload. And we'll have an interesting competitive market on Amazon. Maybe they'll be overpriced like they were back in the day, similar to Toys R Us, and it's going to help all of us. So
yeah, it's true.
Who knows? But anyways, just keep an eye. I'm sure there'll be news stories coming out about that. So just be aware.
Yep.
Okay. Hustle of the week.
Hustle of the week.
I think I know what your hustle of the week's going to be.
Oh, you know what it is.
I know. I called it, didn't I?
Yeah, you did. Okay, so I here's the deal. If you've heard me a couple of times, I think at least 2 episodes, I talked about the Apple hat that I got. And if you watch the Wade's Venture, I actually showed the Apple hat on Wade's Venture, and I was talking about how excited I was. Bought it for 50 cents. Had it listed for I think I had it listed for 99, and I was hoping to get like 89 because I saw some others going for like 85, 89 that were the same hat. And Orlando says, put it on global, turn your global on, it will sell global. And I think you made a bet with me, breakfast, that if it didn't sell global, you'd buy me breakfast. And it went as soon as we turned on global, like the next day it sold.
And I told you full price.
Yeah, full price, $99. So I think I owe you breakfast on that one. I think that's how that worked out. So somehow
I'll get a cheap breakfast that doesn't cut into your profits.
Somehow my hustle of the week turns into free breakfast for Orlando.
My hustle of the week now is the free breakfast.
There we go. Boom. Done. Wrap it up. Next section.
But you bought the hat for how much again?
50 cents. Yeah, it was a really good deal.
It's a sweet hat.
It was awesome. Yeah, I would say it was hard for me to part with, and I don't want to lose fans on this one, but I'm not an Apple fan, so it was easy to get rid of.
Here's what's funny. So it's not my hustle of the week, but one of the things I sold recently was a Microsoft Windows 3.0.
I saw that.
Right? For the same amount. I sold it for $84.99, but I bought it at a estate sale for $5. The box is worn, the package is worn, and it went global.
That's awesome.
Maybe it's the same person. Maybe it's a collector.
Yeah, they just collect just technology stuff. Like they're not like brand specific. No, this one went to Japan, which was kind of cool. It's just interesting to think that, I've got stuff going to another country.
Isn't that wild? And you only have to ship it to Kentucky. So don't sleep on that global shipping.
No, and it was fast too. I mean, we sold a set of books too that went to, I'm not sure what country it went to, but it was global shipping. And we got a message from eBay telling us when Kentucky got it, and when they sent it back out, and it was great. It was fast. It was easy. Yeah, painless.
It really is. It's like you're just shipping domestically. So if you're not doing global shipping, you're missing out. Oh. Think about that. That was $99.99 for the hat, $75 for those books, right? Any other global shipping items?
Those are the only 2 I've done so far.
I sold at Apple for $85. Not the Apple, sorry, the Windows program for $85. I sold last night, like around 12 something. My phone went cha-ching, woke me up. I'm like, the only noise I want to wake up to, right?
Yes.
And it was a vintage 49er snapback that sold for $40. And I don't know where the guy's at, but it sold internationally.
Nice.
So think about that. Like, we're talking about over $200.
I didn't even know people outside of the United States cared about American football.
Neither did I.
There we go.
Let alone the 49ers right now.
Hey, I'm a 49er fan.
So I am a 49er fan. Like, Joe Montana I still want to meet you. Joe Montana if you're hearing this, there's a big fan that still wants to meet you.
I think there's a pretty good chance that Joe Montana is listening to our podcast. So
okay, let me tell you how big of a Joe Montana fan I am. So his kids went to this private school, and I knew they went to this private school. And I actually wanted to get a job at this private school to teach so I could have a parent-teacher conference with Joe Montana.
That's almost stalkerish.
I'm a little worried.
I'm a little worried. I'm surprised you admitted that.
But you know what? I didn't get the job. It didn't happen. But that's how big of a Joe Montana fan I am. So cool. I know some of you out there are some Joe Montana fans. Niners team of the decade. Totally different team than they are now.
Yeah. I don't watch football anymore.
Okay, anyways.
I got too much stuff to list. To watch football.
I hear you. All right, hey, I want to share one of our listeners' hustle of the week.
Yeah, let's do it. That's awesome.
Okay, so the Rydell, okay, that's his handle name, Therideyl. He sold so you got to track with me here because I really don't know what this is, but many of the listeners out there may know what this is.
All right.
And we'll put it on our Insta so people can see it. Yep. It's a Welch Allen diagnostic set otoscope. Do you know what that is?
No clue.
No clue either. But he did. And he bought it actually this past Friday for $14.99 and it flipped by Sunday for $140.
That's nice.
That is a hustle.
That's
nice job.
Good job out there.
Now,
the Rydell, you killed it.
You did. That is awesome. Now, it's funny because I'm thinking this guy must be a doctor or something. So, I was direct messaging and I say, tell me a little bit. How did you find out? Like, what made you look at this? And this is what he told me. What do you think he said before I tell you?
It looked cool.
Okay.
I don't know. It sounds like it would be something that looks cool.
No, he was in the store and he saw something and he pulled out his phone and looked at it.
Did some research.
Yeah. And he did his research. Boom.
Money in the bank.
He's over $100 richer. Right, so do your research. And here's what's funny about we say do your research. You know what our least listened to podcast is?
Do your research. But is it anymore? Didn't we get some? Didn't we push some people that way?
We pushed it a little bit with the free T-shirt contest, but It literally is episode 3. So show episode 3 some love if you haven't. There's some good stuff in there. It's our least listened to podcast.
I can't believe that.
Right,
that's where the money is. You know what I mean? Like the money is in the research.
I know.
You got to listen to it.
But just research just sounds like you're going back to school or something.
That's true. I can see that.
So I don't know. But anyways, nice hustle of the week. All right. So my hustle of the week. They're not huge like your Mac is hat. They're not big like what the Rydell sold. Mine are just clothing at garage sales. This is why they're my hustle of the week. I paid like $1 or $2 for these items. So I sold a Mountain Hardware fleece that I posted today on Insta for $1 for $50.
Wow.
Okay. And here's what I love about it is that the comps on eBay were selling them for $30 to $40.
And you listed it higher and got it?
I listed it higher. I made sure my pictures were better. Sure enough, it sold.
Nice.
Okay. I sold a Columbia jacket, which I wish I didn't buy. I don't know why I bought it. Maybe because it was only $2. I'm like, sure enough. And I went on eBay and the comps were $30 to $40. And I don't know. I just didn't like listing it. It was just big and bulky. It took up space in the closet. So somebody offered me $25. I'm like, get it out of here.
That's right. Hey, if you think about it, $2 to $25 is the same profit margin as some of the bigger hustles of the weeks we talk about. It's not as much money up front, but the total ROI on it that's pretty incredible.
Yeah. So I kind of wanted to tie it into Bolo of the week a little bit. And I have a separate Bolo, but I want you to think about when you're out there garage selling, like I know clothing, like it's just, some people just think it's gross, right? It's somebody else wore it. It could be sweaty. There might be stains. On top of that, then, to list it, you got to take a picture. You got to take measurements, all those things. But there's still money in clothing. I know clothing gets a bad rap. Do you hear like a lot of people being negative about clothing? I think Mike's just insulated from all like the stuff that people say.
Yeah, maybe that's a bad thing. Maybe like I should learn some more about.
Mike's just making money.
Yeah, like just if it sells. But again, like maybe once I have a couple of really bad experiences where I didn't realize something about clothing and I bought something and I get it home and I realized I wasted a bunch of money, I will have wished that I paid more attention to people talking about the problems with clothing. But
no, I get that. I mean, that happens. For every 100 pieces I pick up, there's like 3 or 4.
Yeah.
And the worst is when they're big money ones that I dropped 30, $50 on. So for example, a hockey jersey. So I got this USA hockey jersey one time and I bought it for $15 and it was going for over $100 on eBay. It was legit. It was like, CCM company. It was USA. I mean, everything looked legit, right? And it was a Reebok. And was it Reebok? No, CCM. And there were 2 tags on it. There was a Nike tag and a Reebok tag on it.
Was it a knockoff something?
Yeah, it was a knockoff, except I guess whoever was making this knockoff
didn't realize what they were knocking off.
They didn't realize that maybe you should have like the same tags throughout your clothing because then it looks really fake.
Yeah. Or really awesome because if you like Reebok and you like Nike, you might as well have both in one jacket.
I guess so, but it really irked me because it was $15 and on top of that, the whole drive home like scores $100 and
yeah, that's rough.
I had to throw. I usually throw that stuff away. Do you redonate fake stuff?
No, that'd be messed up.
I don't know. I don't know where people land on stuff like that.
No, I don't know. I mean, I guess
I throw it away because I'm like, I would hate for another person to pick up something.
Yeah.
And then they lose money too.
Yeah.
So if you have fake stuff, please throw it away.
Or, there might even be a market. I think if you're being, I actually don't know the legality of this. So I don't want to say like sell something knowing it's fake.
You know what? Okay, good example. So Rally Roots found some knockoff Tommy Hilfiger stuff from the 90s, but I guess they were saying that it sells. Like people still want it.
Yeah, I mean, if there's a market for it, especially if you think, I mean, because it's what? It's supply and demand, it's scarcity.
Okay,
that's what it is.
I see the point.
So if there were 100 fake versions of something made, they might be actually worth more than the originals if there's, fewer of them and people realize like, hey, there was this thing that was out for a while and they were kind of popular, but there's not very many of them left. And, I mean, I don't know. It's kind of goes back to like the misprints on something, right? Like a misprint on a book or on a cover of an album can actually be worth more, even though it was a mistake because there's fewer of them, right? So now, of course, nobody's like intentionally wanting something fake, that's not going to have more value. But if there's only a handful of them out there and people, want them, then
that is true. And there are some items that like they're fake, but they're popular because they're fake and people want them still.
Yeah, either popular because they're fake or you never know. Like maybe the fake company, the knockoff company that was making it actually had a better product. Right? Like it held up longer and it was like, no, I don't want the real one. I want the fake jacket because that one actually like has, better quality stitching on it. I don't know.
That is interesting.
It's probably all nonsense, but
no.
There's probably one or two items out there that you could probably sell fake.
I think there's truth to that. I really do. Okay. Let's talk about our Bolos now.
I'm going to let you go first because I don't have one off the top of my head at the moment.
You weren't ready for the show?
I come into this ready to experience a good time.
Oh my goodness.
And share my experiences. So,
all right. So my Bolo of the week. So it's going to be kind of vague this time. So last time we were very specific, like Skechers shape ups.
Yep.
Okay. This time, my Bolo of the week is going to be willing to keep an eye out for items that are a little more expensive, but that are new tools. Okay, and the reason I say this is because people pass this up all the time, right? I'll walk into a thrift store. Like, for instance, I posted on Insta, on my Insta story. Maybe I'll post this. I did post it on Insta a month ago, and then when it's sold, I put it on the Insta story. But what I ended up selling, let me give the title because I'm not a mechanic at all. Like if your car breaks down, you don't want me around. Like I can tell you like what happened on the Second Crusade, but I can't tell you how to fix anything. I'm sorry. Just how I roll.
Useful information.
Useful information. Not practical, just
That's
useful,
right.
I
Useful,
guess.
yeah.
All right.
Well, I think that's kind of the same thing.
Okay. All right. Okay. So, I sold Lincoln Power Luber Grease Gun. It's like a thing that mechanics use.
Okay.
And they were at the Goodwill and they were selling them for $60 a piece. And there were 3 and they were all new. And they were sitting there like all day. Like I walked in there, I said, no one picked these up. They're like, no. And I think these people don't pick them up is because, number one, the price point.
Yep.
Right. And number 2, like they have no idea what it is. So it kind of scares people off. I have no idea what these are. Even to this day, Like I saw some pictures on Google Images of like people doing something with brakes or something with. I don't know. Maybe I'm wrong, but I sold them. Right, I still made money. So
that's what matters.
And I find that a lot. Like I'm willing to go and spend money on items that I have no idea about. I just research the comps. You don't have to know exactly how it works. You just, and especially
if it's new.
If it's new.
If it's used, you probably need to either know somewhat how it works or what it is, or be able to disclose in your listing, like, not sure if it works, but it looks cool.
Yeah, but then I wouldn't even go that, unless like for parts, people are willing to pay money. But just be willing to be on the lookout for those items. Because I think sometimes, especially when you're new, right, you're very focused. Like, I'm going to look for Harley, and I'm going to look for Hawaiian. That's what I look at, Hawaiian shirts. And I'm going to look just for, these certain specific jerseys. And I want to find some Yeezys and whatever it is. But in the end, like, you may be missing out. So don't go in with a narrow view. Like, be on the lookout for those bigger, newer kind of tools out there that people want.
Oh, I like it.
Make sense?
Makes sense to me.
All right, so you ready now with your Bolo?
Yeah, I was ready before. I just forgot on the spot.
Wow, you're trying to keep us in suspense.
That's right. So here we go. And this isn't like a great Bolo as much as maybe just a tip, kind of like yours was a tip. But it is kind of a Bolo. So there's a thrift store around me that I go to occasionally, and I almost never find anything good there, like in general, but I've had very good luck finding vintage toys or just like different toy stuff in general, because they have this little rack that's set up that like some toys get thrown into, but like so do other random miscellaneous things. And it's kind of just a jumbled up mess.
Yes, I know what you're talking about. I never look at that.
Yeah. To me, that's a gold mine, because I know that resellers like you aren't going to take the time to move stuff out of the way and look, right? Because most of the time you're wasting your time, right? But this one store I know, because they kind of have it all set up this way, I've gone in twice now and gotten vintage toys that are very, very, very high value toys. So.
Interesting. Thriftzilla, remember Thriftzilla had a hustle a few weeks ago? He does that all the time. So if you follow him on Instagram, and you should, Thriftzilla, he sells toys all the time that he finds, like all the time. Yeah, and they're awesome. Like jumbled up, and he'll set them up, and he'll break them apart, take nice pictures, and they'll sell. He makes money on them. So, wow. Okay, Bolo. So big tools that are new and jumbled up toys.
Yeah, not jumbled up. Be willing to look through that section of the store that nobody else is willing to look through, because the good gold mine stuff might be hiding in there.
Okay. All right. So what are you looking forward to? I got an awesome thing I'm looking forward to, but what are you looking forward to?
Ooh, this one's easy, but I don't know if I want to share it with you, because I'm gonna be selfish on this one.
We're live.
No, I'm sharing it. I'm sharing it with people, but I mean specifically with you. Okay. I'm not sharing this opportunity with you. Oh. I'm being selfish. Wow. So a friend of ours having a garage sale, and it's kind of like a small community garage sale. It's kind of far from here, but this friend has been talking about some nice things that they have. Okay. And they're giving us early access to their house to go through their garage sale. So we're going to show up an hour early and just spend some time looking through the garage.
Now, is it going to feel awkward are you going to haggle him?
I don't think we're going to haggle. I think we're going to be, there might be, I don't want to say haggle, but there's an understanding of, hey, we're trying to make a profit on these things. They know what we do. They know
because it's always weird, right? When you're like people and you're trying to haggle with them.
But no, so we're looking forward to that, and then we'll hit up some other thrift stores while we're out. And then the nice thing, our other garage sales, the nice thing is when my wife and I go together and we take our son garage selling. There it is again, like thrift storing and garage selling. When we go garage selling,
new to the lexicon.
It's in there. So we go garage selling together as a family. When there's like some community sales, we always go to breakfast afterwards. So I'm looking forward to early access garage sales and then breakfast with the family.
Wow, that sounds good. Yeah, it does not sound as exciting as mine.
All right, let's hear yours.
I am finally going to organize my inventory.
That sounds terrible, but great at the same time.
But this is why I'm excited. 2 reasons. My boys will be back at school, so I'll definitely have time, like on my own, to like sort through it. Now, sounds miserable because I have so much inventory. But here's what I saw. I was watching Rally Roots, and they talked about this thing called a custom SKU label that's on your listing that you can put like a bin number or something that only you see.
Oh, that's wonderful.
So when your item sells, it'll tell you like, AU or A3 or A4, and you just go to that bin. I'm like, wow, like that was there this whole time.
That's genius. I've been keeping it in a separate Excel sheet for every item, what bin it's in. It'll be nice to be able to put that. I even told my wife, I said, we should just put like in the bottom of like the description, like just a couple of numbers and letters like that, and nobody will know what it is, but so we know where to find the item.
Yeah.
It's great that they have a space for
I've done that too.
Yeah.
But now that this is there, I'm going to use it. I'm definitely going to organize because when Q4 ramps up, I don't want to be spending 30, 40 minutes looking for an item.
No, absolutely not.
All right, hey, so we're going to wrap up our show, Pure Hustle Podcast.
Yeah.
Okay, so
hey, like, comment, subscribe, join us on YouTube.
Please.
It's great, right? Like if you're just
growing.
listening to us, that's awesome. There's definitely a place for that. But if you have not had a chance to actually watch us have this discussion,
I think you're going to turn people away now by saying that.
No, I don't think so. No, it's great, because, I feel like I'm getting to know some of the people who are watching our stuff because they're, communicating with us on Instagram.
And please comment in the comment section on YouTube. We would love that.
Yeah, just anytime you reach out to us, we will definitely talk back.
And if you want to call us, we're still available, 619-738-1170. That's 619-738-1170. And we are Pure Hustle Cast on Twitter, and we're Pure Hustle Podcast on Instagram and Facebook. So looking forward to hearing from all of you. Hope you have a great week hustling. Make sure to be real,
be relevant,
and be reselling. Peace.